When you look at a map of the Middle East, it's a region that seems to be in constant flux. Borders shift, conflicts erupt, and nations change. But there's one country that's been this incredible constant for centuries: Iran. So what makes it so tough, so unconquerable? Well, let's get into it.
And that quote right there, it might sound like an exaggeration, but it's really not. For 600 years, its borders have barely budged. Think about that. Empires have risen and fallen all around it. The Romans, the Arabs, the Russians, the British, they all tried, and they all ultimately failed to hold this land. So, what is Iran's secret?
Is it just a massive army? Or some kind of unique political genius? Or is it something deeper, something more fundamental? We're about to break down the 4 key secrets that basically make Iran a natural fortress.
Okay, so the first secret, and honestly, maybe the most powerful one, isn't something man-made at all. It's the geography. The best way to think about Iran is as a fortress, but one that was designed by nature itself.
So, every good fortress needs walls, right? Well, look to the west. The Zagros Mountains are this incredible natural barrier standing between Iran, Turkey, and Iraq. And we're not talking about rolling hills here. This is a rugged, brutal range that makes moving a large army across it a logistical nightmare.
And that's just one side. You go up north and you run smack into the Alborz Mountains, which completely lock down the coast of the Caspian Sea. It's another massive wall, forcing any potential attacker into a grueling uphill battle.
But let's say an army somehow managed to punch through those mountain walls. What are they greeted with inside? Oh, just 2 of the most inhospitable deserts on the entire planet. The Dasht Kavir and the Dasht Lut. These aren't just sandy dunes. They are vast, scorching hot salt flats. Basically, a natural kill zone.
So when you put it all together, you've got this complete defensive system. You've got mountain walls, a kind of marshland moat where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers meet, that brutal desert kill zone in the middle, and then the Persian Gulf as a final barrier to the south. It's a defender's dream and an attacker's absolute nightmare.
But hey, a land invasion isn't the only way to attack a country. And that brings us to Iran's second great defense, its almost unbelievable stranglehold on the entire global economy. The term you need to know here is geopolitical choke point. It's pretty much what it sounds like, a narrow passage that's so important that whoever controls it can cause chaos. And Iran sits right on top of the most important one in the world, the Strait of Hormuz.
Think about this for a second. Every single day, a staggering 20%, that's 1/5 of all the oil the entire world consumes, passes right through that tiny little strait. All of that energy, powering our cars, our factories, our economies, flows right past Iran's front door.
To put that in dollar terms, the traffic moving through there is worth about 5% of the entire global GDP. If you were to shut that down, the economic shockwave would hit every single country on Earth almost instantly.
And that gives Iran an absolutely incredible trump card. It's the power to hold the global economy hostage. It's a massive, massive deterrent. Any country thinking about attacking Iran has to ask themselves, is it worth the catastrophic economic fallout?
So we've got the fortress of geography and the economic leverage. But the third layer of defense is human. Now you might look at Iran's diverse population and think, that's a weakness. But it's complicated. It's also a secret strength.
Yeah, Iran isn't just one monolithic people. It's this complex tapestry of different ethnic groups. You've got Persians, of course, but also Azeris, Kurds, Arabs, Baloch, and more. And each group has its own language, its own culture, and yes, that often leads to internal friction.
But here's the paradox, the real kicker. While these groups might have their own issues with the central government, history shows us that the moment an external threat appears, everything changes. That complex tapestry suddenly becomes a unified shield.
And you want proof? Look no further than the Iran-Iraq War. In 1980, Saddam Hussein invaded, and he was betting that he could exploit all those ethnic divisions, that Iran would just crumble from the inside. He could not have been more wrong. The invasion completely backfired, sparking this incredible wave of nationalism that united the country against a common enemy.
All right, that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. The last and maybe simplest defense, Iran's sheer, overwhelming size. 1.6 million square kilometers. I mean, a number that big is kind of meaningless, right? So let's put it this way. You could fit France, Germany, and the United Kingdom inside of Iran and still have plenty of room to spare. To conquer it, an army has to get lost in a strategic labyrinth.
This incredible vastness gives Iran what military planners call strategic depth. What that means, in simple terms, is that there's no way to land a single knockout blow. An invading army can't just storm the capital and declare victory. The deeper they push, the longer and more fragile their supply lines get.
So just picture it from an invader's point of view. First, you have to somehow smash your way through the mountains. Then, you have to cross hundreds of kilometers of hostile desert. All the while, your supply lines are getting stretched thinner and thinner, more and more vulnerable. And only then do you get to attack the major cities, which are fortified deep inside the country. In a very real way, Iran's greatest weapon is Iran itself.
So, let's put all the pieces together. When you combine these four massive factors, you really start to see why Iran is such a uniquely difficult nut to crack.
See, it's not just any one of these things. It's the powerful combination of all of them. It's a natural fortress of mountains and deserts. It's got an economic kill switch at the Strait of Hormuz. It has a complex population that, when pushed, unifies. And it has this immense strategic depth that just swallows invading armies whole. It's a multi-layered, almost perfect defense.
And all of that leaves us with a really big final question. If a direct, conventional invasion of Iran is practically impossible, what does that mean for the future of conflict in the region? Does it mean that future wars won't be fought with tanks and soldiers, but with economic sanctions, with cyber attacks, with proxy armies? That's definitely something to think about.